Okay, I'm gonna give an example why emotionalism can fuck up your message, because you sense or you detect a real urgent crisis in the population. That's not false. There's a problem, like, right? Because some immigrants have not acculturated to the values of the shared values, right? So, but oh, okay, so people might think that this word acculturation means something of subservience, like you're using the word assimilate and you're asking people to assimilate, and that's impossible. Assimilation is not possible. It's a word, but its meaning and what humans we could do with it's not possible. At some point in time, there's going to be a snafu, and it's going to radically recorrect where you think you assimilated somebody. It's going to radically, like, you don't know where's beef. Okay, describe beef. Tell me where's beef is at. Nobody knows, right? But acculturation is something that is not wrong to ask people to do when they naturalize into your community. You're not trying to remove or scrub out who they are. You're not trying to scrub out their culture, but you are asking them to acculturate. So instead of prayers, call to prayer, they have to acculturate, but they don't have to stop being Muslim. They just can't do call to prayer, you know what I mean? At the same time, because like even to say church bells is a little bit intrusive to someone who's not, church going. It's not that bad, and it's acculturating to the society that we live in. So you can expect a certain amount, like a small amount, really, of church bells. Okay, it started at 8 o'clock. You hear eight dong dong 8 times, telling people calls to pray, calls to mass, whatever. We have it too, but so we're not have. It's not to say that we're so backwards and sundowner and we can't accommodate any guests of any foreign countries or anything like that, because then we would go backwater. So it's like you have to. It's when in Rome. Otherwise, there's nothing to. There would be no such thing as a Rome if they didn't say when in Rome, do as the Romans do, right? Because there wouldn't be a thing called Rome or anything. It's not about whether Rome is a good or a bad. It's about whether Rome wants to hold something called Rome, right? Or if they want to do something called Rome. So all these countries, I feel like it's like by the time they can establish themselves in your subconscious as like a having the mantle of, I don't know, I'm making shit up now, hegemony or something. Their hegemonic powers. Then they all pull a sword out of the lake at some point in time. But by pulling the sword out of the lake doesn't mean that you have to capitulate to inadequate terminology, or you don't have to evaluate things because there's something more important going on. So because of the Democratic, it is the most important election ever, and this is so bigger than everybody, then Kamala gets to be black. Like, why can't she just run a regular campaign? I looked at her father. He looks Jamaican. He's Irish and looks Jamaican. So it's like, where's the drop of black, right? You're wondering, where's it? He's not Indian. Her father's not Indian, right? He's an Irish landowner, but he has a drop. Okay, he looks like Lord Creator, or somebody like that, like Sean Nepal. Sean Nepal. He looks like one of those Jamaicans. Really, really fair skin. And this mustache and stuff, like, almost kind of look like. And But this thing about declaring yourself a part of a community that you're not. I mean, being black and being African American is two different things. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a Rome, right? There has to be a difference between Etruscans and Minoans or something, or the Byzantine and Carth. It's like I'm just making shit up, but like all these groups are different clans and sects of the same race, and they wouldn't have their nation if they didn't establish that there is a way to acculturate or to observe them, and you're not doing anything destructive if you're acculturating. But if you're assimilating, you're trying to clone so that you can hack in, or if you're demanding that people assimilate, you're trying to clone them so that to ignore that it's impossible to assimilate. It's impossible. Nobody's going to assimilate. They're lying to you. They might have Stockholm syndrome. They might be poisoning you with lead. They might be doing any of things that they're feigning their own. You know what I mean? They're not really, because it's impossible. You just can't. You're not going to accept them. It's not what you can beat out of them. It's the fact that which you will never accept them, that we both know. And there might not be nothing wrong with that, as long as you're asking people to acculturate and they're not going around to trying to assimilate anyone, because that's cloning, attacking. There's two different ways to go about assimilating and attack. You can require assimilation, which is a mistake that the right is doing, because they don't know they're using the wrong terminology. Just look at the word acculturation. It's not requiring you to capitulate. It's the opposite. It's saying that there has to be a Rome exists for anybody to come here and do as we do. What is even that? What did you even want to come here to see?